Ever wondered what makes TV so powerful in Jamaica? Time to find out. Welcome to Global TV Group 358, where television meets innovation. We're not just about shows, we're about shaping society. In Jamaica, TV keeps you informed, connects diverse voices, and supports democracy. Imagine a Jamaica where broadcasters unite, sharing data and collaborating globally. That's us, a unified voice in the TV industry. Did you know TV advertising is still king? It drives website traffic, boosts brand equity, and powers integrated campaigns. Even in an age of digital, TV stands strong, resilient in tough times. Our Global TV deck is your treasure trove of insights and data. With charts, graphs, and success stories, it's your guide to impactful TV advertising. Curious to learn more? Visit our website and see how Global TV Group 358 keeps television at the heart of entertainment in Jamaica. Get ready to binge watch the future.
For me again, you can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't for me again. Can't for me again. You can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to cry. You can't for me again.
What fi go to eat no money, what fi at you, eat no at you. Covid money miss away in the yellow rat you. Use the youth the money waste for most a man to statue. Say me like a catch you, but bigger than a figure you. Take the spirit of money gun and say that is not you. One day the man above end up him a got a breath. Too much it in the kitchen, some a fly by like a patu. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me,
300% raise.
it burn me,
Garbage pile up the day.
it burn me,
Give the teacher them
it
raise.
burn me,
I see corruption please.
it burn me,
Mash down the people them house.
it burn me,
Every day appear arms out.
it burn me,
Appear money them a thief.
it burn me.
And them a sell out the beach.
Can't for me again. You can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't for me again. Can't for me again. You can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't for me again.
Come me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The already promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth, them rough and they down in our fever. Member bold money and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start like thief when them sell.
It burn me,
On them treat the market man.
it burn me,
On them a treat the cat man.
it burn me,
On them treat the peanut man.
it burn me,
On them a treat the dirt man.
it burn me,
On them a treat the son man.
it burn me,
How them a treat policeman.
it burn me,
How them a treat soldier man.
it burn me.
How them a treat everyone.
Can't for me again. You can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't for me again. Can't.
Stevie dim day. We in Global TV says certain kind of friend we no cape. And some informer friend we love lake. We in Global, bona fake friend and bona tape. We in Global, we not promote them, we not support them. Look at them on the cheek, come here represent for. We in Global TV, check it.
Good evening, and welcome to Global Television. Thank you for joining us. Good evening, everybody. Good evening to the municipal corporations across Jamaica. Good evening to Portland Municipal Corporation. The only one seemed to get a ookie in the book. Good evening to the infestation at the municipal corporations across the country. Good evening to the rats and the roaches at local government. Oh no, not the human rats who regularly go into our budget on a daily basis and skinned us dry like they did to Mr. Bolt. No, we're talking about literal rats. You know, the rats that piss upon the food over ODPEN and eat up the food that while poor people were suffering, the rats were having fun at Oddpem with those food that should have been distributed to you. It will be a riot this evening. Desmond Mckenzie said we lie. So Desmond I forgot tell me, out of me, and him sorefoot mama will grow a thief. Who liar? Desmond Mckenzie. We will get to you, but we want to get to the Public Accounts Committee because rat nyam off the receipt. Them at local government. Hurricane wet them up. Rat nyam them off. Hey, to my community of party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, via subscribers, commenters, and trolls. Good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us this evening. Sharon Bernard, David Jervis. Good evening. Good evening. Who else there? Real sweet. Good evening. Canadian Gal. Good evening. Marcia Thomas. Good evening. Good evening. Yvonne Riley. Beat and Teach. Sonia Johnson. Good evening. Good evening. Like and share the live while me do my roll call, please. While me at the roll call, like and share the live. Rock and come in, like and share the live, because a riot and judgment this evening with me and Desmond Mckenzie. You see that. Miranda Raddock, good evening, sunshine. How you doing? Good evening. And all of the bloody hand tam him with the open dry blood. What we don't know where for to and tam and for wash off the dry blood. We have a whole heap to get through this evening. And we're not done with the house in Galangin, you know, because we not take the blame for what Desmond Mckenzie, the Prime Minister, said. And we're not going to run around and call us lie and despicable without to come out here, come tell them about the mama sore foot. Yvonne Bradford, good evening. Millicent Jones, good evening. Good evening. Sophia Hall. Charnel Williams, Isilda Williams, Jason Kane. Good evening. Good evening, Paulette Lewis. Andrea Joan Hamilton Wilson, the Unstoppable One. Carlene Richards. Wayne Evans. Monica Wills. Good evening, all, and welcome. Let me see who over TikTok. Winston McKay, Rosalind. Samantha Watson. Good evening and welcome. We want to go straight to the Public Accounts Committee because it's an annual thing, Learning Casanova. And I think it's interesting because they were talking about the outstanding appropriation account, outstanding on audit, whatever on there is. So let us get through that first, Keith Matthews. Let us get through that first because there's quite a bit to waffle through, but there's something Miss Monroe Ellis said that I think it's interesting for us to listen to as well. So we're going to get to that straight away, and then we'll get into the riotous side of things after this. So call everybody and tell them, riot tonight.
To produce this, but it is in your court to give us a feasible timeline as to when that can be done.
Chairman, I take this matter very seriously.
No, that is Dr. Tufton, Permanent Secretary.
Weekly senior executive meetings, and this is a standing part of the agenda where we get updates as to where we are with with getting them done. I've been given the assurance by my team
Peter Ticho on TikTok.
they are comfortable
Wagwan.
that if we pull out all the resources, we should make
Like
the
and share
deadline.
up the
However,
live. Oh.
based on what I'm seeing, I
Got
have to agree with
judgment
the chairman.
tonight
It don't
with me
seem
and
possible.
Desmond
I would
Mckenzie,
It
thief
ask,
and
can't be
liar.
possible. Let me tell you why. If you can't say definitively whether the issue of staff members signing off on outstanding accounts has been resolved, then there's no way you can meet March 31st. That's a major issue. And I mean, when we left here last year, I really thought we
Annie
would have gotten
Jones.
the legal opinion. And I understood why staff members were reluctant to do so, because you don't want to be held personally accountable for something you know nothing about, which is 10 years old, and you had nothing to do with it. And the reports we got from the ministry were that the staff members were reluctant to sign off on that. Now, if that is not resolved, then I don't see how you could ever meet March 31st. And if an opinion hasn't been sought from the AG's, Attorney General's department, then how are we going to deal with those accounts? I know you're new to the wicket as the PS, but I know some of the other colleagues here should be in a position to brief you on that particular issue, because that was one of the main concerns that was raised the last time the ministry came here.
Chairman, to be frank, that was not raised as a concern to me until quite recently. So, as I said before, I will follow up with the AG and do what I need to do to ensure that we have that opinion.
All right.
Yes, it might be a little hard on you, having just been in the seat for some time, but I just like to make a general comment, and not necessarily directed at the Minister of Health nor yourself, but having been on the PAC for chairman about 20 plus years, one of my greatest difficulties is coming to the Public Accounts Committee meeting and hearing the technocrats, the public servants indicate that the challenges that confront the respective ministries will be solved, and given a timeline, and then a year later, we're still seeking for another timeline. And it is across all ministries, departments, and agencies. And it is troubling, actually troubling, Chairman. And sometimes what I find even more egregious is that some agencies only seek to have the matters discussed or settled a day before or a week before the sitting of the PAC. And it makes the work of the PAC seem almost trivial, in that we, who are supposed to be basically custodian of the spend of government, are not able to get responses that are expected. Two, in terms of the report from the Auditor General's Department in terms of how government agencies are to respond in terms of their accounting procedures. And it is troubling, Chair. I could go further, but it is troubling.
What I would ask of you, PS, is that in a week's time, you write to me, giving me a realistic time frame as to how long you think it will take you to complete it, so that we have some benchmark on which we can hold it to account. As I said, I know you're new to the wicket, but you have the responsibility as the chief accountable officer. And really, when I look at it, I'm not saying that nothing has been done, but the reality is that we are not significantly further than we were last year when we came here. Yes, the government chemists seem to be, we have 8 out of 9, but the main ministry, And from my recollection, we're talking about somewhere in the region of 800 to 900 billion dollars that there are outstanding appropriation accounts for. So I'm going to ask you to write to me in a week based on your own checking internally to give me a realistic update, and that we can hold you accountable when next you come here. And as member guy said, I mean, the ministry is in the hot seat, the Ministry of Health, but this issue cuts across all ministries. Ministry of Health may be the worst offender here, but almost every single ministry has outstanding appropriation accounts. And the reason I call the Ministry of Local Government and the municipal corporations here, they are also, to varying degrees, they are also problematic as well. And it's important to note it is the Auditor General can't do her work. The department can't do its work unless it has these accounts. It's just unable to even provide an opinion. And to have the matter outstanding so long and not seemingly being able to solve them. And I'm not pretending that these are easy issues, but we need realistic timeframes and we need a plan of action to get them resolved. So I'll ask you to do that, PS.
Thank you very much, Chairman.
All right. Sorry. Member Morrison, you have your hand up. Go ahead, please. Go ahead. Not hearing you, Member Morrison. Unmute and go ahead.
It's important that we listen. They're talking about our public spending. Hey, hallelujah. Rats. Hey. Eating the receipts.
All right. We can come back to Member. I don't know if she's not hearing us. Go ahead, Member Morrison.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Right. My question is for Madam AG. In the interest of clarity, for many Jamaicans who may not understand many of these terms, what is the difference between unaudited and unaccounted for? And this is in consideration of what has been playing out in the public space. Certainly no fault of the department, but sometimes when the information goes out into the public space, people see it as missing funds. You have the characters and reputation of people who work in the different, right across the MDAs, who are at risk. And these people, I suspect, would be in distress. So we want, in the interest of clarity, that there be an explanation, unaudited versus unaccounted for. Thank you.
Through you, Chair. Unaudited means that it has not been audited. Unaccounted for is not a term that I would seek to explain here. I've not used that terminology. And I believe it is subject to many interpretations. I wouldn't even attempt to provide a definition here on that. Thanks.
Member Morrison, you heard the response of the AUGD.
Yes, I heard the response, but that response may not satisfy many Jamaicans who are of the view when they hear it. And it's just for her to have given an explanation so we don't have Jamaicans thinking when they hear unaudited, it means that funds are missing. Because as I said before, a lot of that played out in the public space, right? Where ordinary Jamaicans were of the view when they hear about unaudited, they interpreted that means that something has gone wrong in the MDAs and funds were actually missing. So it's just for clarity. That's all.
We've got passion, we've got determination. And if we set our sights on something, you better believe it's happening.
You have anything further to say?
So they did put up her face on the screen there. She had a Miss Morris. I don't know if she's a permanent secretary or what.
Morrison just said, I think it's very valid because we use the term unaudited, and it is then like a Chinese
You know the government have problem with word, don't?
telephone. When it reaches the public, it means that monies are missing. And sometimes we need to take the time to explain to the public that unaudited does not mean monies are missing. And as the Auditor General said, she had never used the term unaccounted for. But notwithstanding that the term is not used by those who are schooled in auditing, it is still out there, Chairman. And I think the question that Member Morrison raised is very valid, right? And it must be emphasized to the public that unaudited means that the books were not given to the auditors to go through. And so the auditors had not had the chance to do the checks and balances to check whether the entries are correct or incorrect. So it is one that the auditor doesn't know and can't say. So it is unaudited. Or it may reach the auditor and there are still things that are needed to be included, and the auditor may send back the financials for the gaps to be filled. But it is not saying that the auditor, when the auditor says that it's unaudited, it is not saying that monies are missing.
Thank you. And again, the Auditor General, as she said, never used those terms. They were used by someone else in the public domain or interpreted that way, right? No, man, I'm not saying there's any issue. I'm just emphasizing. So I'm just saying to emphasize the point, what we are here discussing is appropriation accounts that have not been submitted, which would fall into the category of being unable to be audited, right? And what we are seeking to resolve is to ensure that those accounts are in fact submitted to the Auditor General.
Thanks for that, Mr. Chairman, because I wanted to be pellucid that I did not use that term. But since I'm being asked to provide, what I'll do is give you an example. I didn't say unaudited either. I said outstanding. Ministry of Health accounts are outstanding. I never used the term unaccounted, but I used the term, well, actually the phrase that I will not provide an opinion because the municipal corporations which are before us, some of them have been unable to account for the money spent. And those are specifically for the financial statements that I've basically provided a disclaimer on. So we will see when the municipal corporations speak that there are millions of dollars that they have spent that they have not been able to account for by providing the necessary supporting documentation. I did not use the term unaccounted for, let me clarify, but in the sense of the financial statements and an audit opinion, I will let you know that when I say that I did not form an opinion because the information was not available, it means that the accounting officer, or the accountable officer rather, was unable to account for the monies under their stewardship. I hope that provides some clarification.
Very much so, Madam AG.
My friends laughed at me for buying this, and now they ask me where I got this. It's the Japanese chef's knife.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you, the members from the Ministry of Health, and you can either wait or...
Okay, Tufton permanent secretary is going to escape the chair now, and then the rat-infested local government lot is going to move in the chair, you see. Hey, bound around.
So you can excuse yourself, and I'll
Rat!
invite the PS from
Nyam the
Ministry of
receipt.
Local Government to come forward.
Thank you, Chairman. And you did ask for a response within a week, and you'll have that response.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, AG. Thank you very much, members.
Madam PS, whoa, are you okay? Watch, be careful with your step down. Madam PS, the issues related to the municipal corporations are varied in terms of the outstanding accounts, from IT systems that have broken down, that have caused accounts to be absent, to inadequate provision of financial statements. It's not a homogeneous reason that affects.
What I don't understand in a modern digital day, even if the computer broke down, I can go on any other device and access the thing, because in the modern system we use, all these information are clouded them in the cloud, where you can just jump over the moon like cow and catch them and use them. They are there. Once you master the skill of jumping over the moon, the information is always going to be there, even if mechanical breakdown.
The municipal corporations, and there are some municipal corporations that are doing better than others, but I would say across the board, it still remains a very bad state of affairs in terms of the provision of financial statements to the Auditor General. So I'd invite you, I know the CEOs or the CFOs are here as well, who can provide further details, but from the ministry's perspective, to inform us in terms of what the ministry is doing to deal with the systemic issues affecting the municipal corporations.
Thank you, Chairman. Mic is on, right?
Yes.
All right. So, first of all, let me thank you for this opportunity to once more sit in this house to give you an update.
Just pull up the mic a little more.
You're hearing me now?
Yeah.
That's fine?
Yeah.
All right. So, I am supported today, of course, by my team, and I would like to just remind the House, because this is very important to understand and appreciate, that each CEO is also an accounting officer in a similar fashion as a permanent secretary, because they are, in effect, so empowered by the Local Governance Act. So whilst I will try to give an overview of what has been happening and where we
hit
have
the like
reached
button and
today,
call crowd, you know.
the
No one here
individual
where yeah man where
responses
at
per
man.
parish will
Huh?
come from them.
On the tan
Just to
bad slow.
indicate to the House also, I don't believe Westmoreland is here this night.
Yes,
No,
I think
St.
they are.
Catherine. I forgot. Miss Peter is reassigned to St. Catherine. St. Catherine is not here this morning.
Okay.
I'm not seeing the CEO. She had called in sick, as well as her CFO, and had asked me to so indicate. The
Kiss me puss joke. She can't lean sick.
Town clerk, well, CEO KSAMC also is
He
not
sent an
here today.
apology,
Right.
yes.
I
But
just
the
wanted the
CFO
host to
is
acknowledge
the
because he
CFO is
has
here.
council meeting. He sent a written apology and the CFO is here today. Now, Chairman, the last time we appeared, we spoke about a process to implement an accounting software across local authorities to standardize the process. We also spoke about a steering committee which we had invited a member from the Ministry of Finance to participate, and we spoke about the individual MC's particular situation. Just to indicate that you had said to us that I was very ambitious in wanting or projecting that we would have the software by, I believe, 2025 January, based or 2024. However, based on the fact that we were impacted by Beryl and Raphael, we had to again adjust our procurement proposals in that
The act of God. Hey, hey. I think I got alone and turn the blame to them. Go on, listen.
we had to look on other procurement during that time. However, as we speak, the tender is now out. It closes on February.
The word procurement is used as a delaying tactic to avoid responsibility while thieving public money. Continue. Continue.
February 28th, where bidders may give their proposal as to what they think they can do for the local authorities in respect of the specifications that we have put out. Just to indicate,
What is the implementation time frame? You'd select a
July,
vendor in March.
July.
Did you know that when you wear lenses, your eyes become lazy? Instead, try these self-adjustable glasses that are taking
July 2025 is the projected timeline. Right. End of July, we are expecting the award of contracts.
Or the
based
award
on,
is
yes,
end of July. So
yes.
what is the time frame for implementation after the award? Because you're doing
Immediately
it in all 14.
in all 14 local authorities. So it should commence immediately. However, it would also depend on what the bidders propose because we're looking at 14 locations and there are different challenges in different locations, as you would have heard at the last time. Some MCs are still reporting challenges in terms of infrastructure hardware, which we are also presently addressing.
So is there I mean, it's good to have this new software system, but has there been an assessment done to determine whether each municipal corporation has the capacity to implement it, has the IT systems, the necessary backups? Because in here, I think 3 municipal corporations reported that because of a breakdown in their IT systems,
Yes,
they lost
Hanover being
critical
one.
data.
That's correct.
So what is being done to address that, separate
So,
from the software?
so that's what I was alluding to, Chairman, to indicate that different MCs have different experiences. So within the ministry, our own IT unit visits each local authority and gives the necessary support and recommendations as to the steps that are to be taken to bring their system to the standard that it ought to be.
So can you say definitively whether that has been done for all 14, or is that a work
Yes,
in progress?
there is a present document and it is a work in progress in that every quarter that team goes out, assess what is happening, give the support and do the necessary updates. And you'll see for St. James, for example, they have proposed to utilize our approach in respect of backup and the policies that would have put in place for our IT systems.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Yeah. Mhm.
Right. So in respect of the procurement that is currently ongoing, so we would have also met to look on the various other aspects that must be considered, such as work plans, challenges, and how they ought to be mitigated. That team has been supported by 2 officers from the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. So we have their constant inputs to ensure that all the various aspects that must be considered in having a robust system are considered. I believe also that we would have reduced the number of financial statements that we reported on last time.
Listen the maths, yes,
by a few, not to the extent that we would love to have it. Up to last night, I was just trying to do a cross check with Mr. McAdam. I think we're at 83 now. However, the one for the PRF, madam, you'll get that before the end of day today. It is on my desk.
What are
for
we
signing.
coming from? What number are we coming from?
Listen to the maths.
Mr. McAdam, could you remind me, please?
Yeah, if you can update us, Mr. McAdam.
Last year, in terms of the last annual report, 2023, the number outstanding was actually 81.
81.
81, right. And now we are at 83.
So we're not going in the right direction then?
So we're basically at the same place.
We're pretty much at the same then.
Your report indicated 86.
No, that's a 2024 report.
Yes.
Now, I'm comparing this year's report with the previous annual report. So the previous annual report, we were at 81 outstanding. As at 2024, December, we were at 86. Since the annual report was published, we received 3, so we are now down to 83.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
So
you.
we're still at more than
So year on year, we are basically at the same level,
position.
right?
Yeah.
So in other words, Chairman, because we have moved on in time, so 1 more year is added for each local authority. So that is why it seems to be climbing, but we're actually descending.
No, you're not.
You add 14
yes.
each year.
Yes.
So you would have resolved.
Woman, me dance. Woman, me drop out a basic school. Woman, me can't count go further than 10. But me dance, woman, me dance. But last year, they had 81 outstanding. This year, you have 86 outstanding, and you get 3 since you do the report. So, 83 outstanding. And you mean to say, you say you cut it down? You cut it down? Me not think this are done after all. Talk truth. Me not think Mr. Dunst after all. Make she talk. Hey, Jesus, this morning. Hey, make she talk, man. Make she talk. Talk, woman. Talk off your mouth.
So if you had 14 to 81, 4 and 1, 5, that's 95. But you don't have 95 before you. You have 83 now.
No, it's worse.
Yes. And you will be down by 1 more after I send you the PR report. So we're making steady progress, Chairman.
Hold on, the AG wants to say.
Just to bring add to what the PS is saying, we completed 23 statements this year. So that would have been deducted from the 81 last year. But of course, because of the passage of time, the other years become due. So it adds back to it. And that will continue happening if we do not reduce it at a faster pace.
Which is what we're aiming for.
Okay.
Missing teeth ruin your life. I know because I work with patients daily who have lost all or most of.
I believe I would have summarized from the ministry's perspective the systematic approach, Chairman, in respect of a capacity steering committee and the infrastructure that we're looking on. You would have seen the individual responses from the various local authorities and the steps that they have been taking to address the issues. I want to also indicate, because it also came up as a feature the last time and the times before that too, of the structure of the local authorities, that we now have an approved structure with a timeline of implementation as of November 1, 2024. And so a number of the accounting posts that we were clamoring for, we now have those. And as we speak, recruitment and selection is underway urgently.
All right. Member Guide and Member Siblings. Yeah, all right. Let's turn off yours and then. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Chair. P.S. Can we go back to the procurement of this IT software and I presume hardware as well? We understand the concerns that were there with the impact of the two natural events. What I want to find out is what the ministry is proposing to do is to have a standardized accounting software for all the municipal corporations,
Yes.
and that all of them would also have the similar backup in terms of storage, whatever, of data. And that is what is proposed.
Let me know if you want to listen to all of it, and we can jump to some little interested part, because I must be honest, it's a bit lengthy. We're not going to go through all of it, but there are some important parts which I think it's important for you to hear. So please let me know in the comment, but it's interesting for us to listen to the local government. Them.
We're looking at a standardized approach in treating with the IT system across local authorities. You may be aware that already, through a partnership with the National Works Agency, that there is a backup system in all town centers. Some have been experiencing challenges which we are now presently addressing, but what it does is allow for a backbone to support
That's
the
the
town
backbone with the
centers.
National Works Agency,
Yes,
which
sir.
is the
Which
lines.
the MCs are the hub for that.
Right. So unlike what existed in the past, where different corporations had their own systems, this new
All right, but so fancy Miss
proposal is
Ellis
to
part
have
them
everybody
phone.
standardized.
That is the intent, sir. But let me just put a little rider there. For example, for Westmoreland, because they want to finish at a faster pace, they have sought permission to do a temporary arrangement with a software system to allow them to move forward, which my team is now looking on that to look at the feasibility of doing that in the interim.
Would, in as much as you indicated earlier on that each municipal corporation and the CEOs are the accounting officers in as much as the permanent secretary in the ministry, would this new or proposed software allow the parent ministry to have superintendents of what is happening in the respective corporations, so that you can be alerted to see if there's any delay in implementation of any particular project and or the accounting?
That is very much correct, sir. So the team that is, or the committee that we have, might be a very big committee, but everyone has a voice. Each CEO is a member, as well as the system.
We proudly present our brand new 16 terabytes portable hard drive. It's the perfect solution for all your storage needs.
Way.
All right, before the Auditor General wants to come in, but let me just ask you, PS, the support that the central ministry needs to support the municipal corporation, you're satisfied you're getting that support from the Ministry of Finance, either whether, I know you're going through procurement, but in terms of
Auditor
the
General
personnel issue
speak,
came
yes,
up, the personnel issue is going to be resolved with the new structure, with the competent.
The conversation is ongoing, Chairman. We have got the support for the transitioning as at December for contract workers, and the conversation continues in relation to the full implementation of the structure.
All right, Auditor General.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. All right, so the first thing, two things I want to establish is I want to indicate that I agree with the position that the municipal corporations need assistance with personnel to enable the completion to standard, because that's another issue of the financial reports. I also want to agree with the member that with the passage of time, and we're going to find that with the Ministry of Health and others, with the passage of time, the risk of being unable to account for the funds increases. That's what we're seeing playing out here with the municipal corporations. No, unfortunately, I was not at the sitting, the last sitting of the, where the municipal corporations were present. And it occurs to me, based on what was said, that there may either a misrepresentation or a misunderstanding, a misrepresentation on our part of the situation in terms of how we communicated it, or a misunderstanding of what was the intention of what was said. And the permanent secretary knows this. She knows the facts. The situation with the municipal corporations is not as a result of us being unable to do the audit. You can look back at annual reports 10 years going back. We have been at the municipal corporations to submit the statements. You will see even in here where there are, I think it's Hanover and another, I don't know if it's Clarendon, who indicated that they were not given sufficient time to prepare the financial reports that have been outstanding for quite a number of years. We did not contribute to that. But when reports are submitted to us in bulk, it presents a problem. It puts a serious challenge on the audit resources. In fact, it is my intention to communicate, I think I may have said it informally before, but I'm going to communicate it formally, that I anticipate, and in fact I said it in the annual report, that I anticipate that the department is going to come under serious pressure this year when the ministries, because they are being pressured to submit their appropriation accounts, as well as the municipal corporation, when they submit all of those statements in bulk. Because we have a statutory obligation to audit a number of public bodies and projects. And when I say projects, I'm speaking about the international projects, the World Bank, the IDB. We have to meet those deadlines. If we don't meet the deadlines, the country is going to have a problem in terms of being able to draw down.
Listen, well,
those are time sensitive. So when we add the bulk that is coming 9 years from government chemists, we have several coming in from the Ministry of Ministry of Labor and Social Security, and others coming in. It's going to put us under pressure. It is going to put us under pressure in terms of auditing on a timely basis, coupled with the fact that the statements are not coming to the standard that they are expected to come with. There's one point, though, that I am going to disagree with, and that is that the IT system is the panacea for this. That's not my view. And I believe that if you want
to be fair, I certainly know enough to know that it would not be, and I don't think I would say the PS was representing it as a panacea. No.
Okay. Well, because I heard the position being put forward regarding the IT system, and what you will see here, Mr. Chairman, Hanover, the expenditure 935.8 million. Clarendon 2.4 billion.
Just to be clear for everybody, the figures, you're referencing numbers that represent what?
That represent, these are the figures that I was not in a position to form an opinion on because the necessary supporting records are not available for them. So this is what the municipal corporations have not been able to account for. I'm giving an example.
Okay.
But within all of that, there are three councils that I believe, though it's not perfect,
Manchester,
they have been able to secure their information and submit it, and that is Trelawney, that is Portland, and that is Manchester. And that to me is an example that it is possible, because even if your IT systems fail, you should have the hard evidence. You should have the paper evidence to support it, even if the IT system fails. No, that is lacking. So we have to also consider the real issues in terms of how the municipal corporations, how the accounting staff account for the information.
Pamela Monroe Ellis says no, kick around,
Complete in a cash book. having evidence of the journal entries made, having securing payment vouchers. We see where payment vouchers, the explanation given,
Yes,
they got
we
wet.
can
Hurricane
teach.
come, they got wet. They never secured them. And when they returned, one complained that the records were sequestered. When they were returned, then they became infested. Rats and other pests, wreak havoc on it. We have to know.
You heard it from Miss Ellis, didn't you? Rats, said the local authority, reap havoc over the documents. We are unable to provide them. Rat piss it up, rat shit it up, rat yam it off, and rat dry it wet, says local government. Rat infested municipal corporations of Jamaica. That's why they cannot provide us any appropriations account or any of our spending because rat nyame off, hurricane wetty up.
Though that I am going to disagree with, and that is that the IT system is the panacea for this. That's not my view. And I believe that if you
Well,
want
to be fair, I certainly I know enough to know that it would not be, and I don't think I would say the PS was representing it as a panacea. No.
Okay, well,
No.
because I heard the position being put forward regarding the IT system, and what you will see here, Mr. Chairman, Hanover, the expenditure 935.8 million. Clarendon 2.4 billion.
Just to be clear for everybody, the figures, you're referencing numbers that represent what?
That represent, these are the figures that I was not in a position to form an opinion on because
Okay.
the necessary supporting records are not available
Okay.
for them. So this is what the municipal corporations have not been able to account for. I'm giving an example.
Okay.
But within all of that, there are three councils that I believe, though it's not perfect.
Manchester.
Campbell, once you hit the button that says join, it should give you an instruction to follow where you choose the price you want to pay, and then it will ask you to put in your bank details. Let's continue listening to the Meke.
They have been able to secure their information and submit it, and that is Trelawney, that is Portland, and that is Manchester. And that to me is an example that it is possible, because even if your IT systems fail, you should have the hard evidence. You should have the paper evidence to support it, even if the IT system fails. No, that is lacking. So we have to also consider the real issues in terms of how the parish, how the municipal corporations, how the accounting staff account for the information, completing a cash book, having evidence of the journal entries made, having securing payment vouchers. We see where payment vouchers, the explanation given, they got wet. Hurricane come, they got wet. They never secured them. And when they returned, one complained that the records were sequestered. When they were returned, then they became infested. Rats and other pests, wreak havoc on it. We have to now consider how we go about securing.
Good night, Mr. Bolt. Mr. Bolt, good night. Now that we find out, Mr. Bolt, that rat is reaping havoc at local government, taking out receipts, journal accounting, documents, and all of that, Mr. Bolt. Could it be a case where the evidence to show where your money has gone to, Mr. Bolt, and who's taken your money got infested, wet by hurricane, piss, shit, eaten, and dragged away by rat, Mr. Boat? Just asking, could it be a possibility? Hmm?
System will should help with the efficiency if those fundamental issues are not addressed, Chair. What we're going to hear down the line is that the IT system failed again, and we're going to lose the record because it's significant amount of sums here. So even though you will see reported here that the audits were completed, it's really cold comfort because I was not in a position to say that the transactions were actually were bona fide and that the monies were spent according to the necessary regulations that's in place to govern such transactions.
Understood. All right. I'm going to ask Member Guy and Member Sibley's, hold on. Just release your mics because Member Witter was...
Bear with me, may I go find another important part where Miss Ellis explained to them one legal part of the money spending and not accountable for and what the law says, how you feel. You make me find it for one there. Hold on. Hold on, hold on.
Big ideas.
That is, in fact, what I was alluding to. An IT solution is really just automating your business processes. So if your business processes are not right, you're going to have a problem doing that migration to an IT system. It is not going to work if your system, if your fundamental control environment is weak. And I do believe that the control environment of the municipal corporations need to be strengthened as a part of the upgrading and automation of the business processes. Now, I won't say too much about what needs to be done because that's the PS's responsibility, but certainly from a recommendation, training and awareness of the personnel, that I think is fundamental, and having a basic understanding of the roles and responsibility in accounting for government resources.
All right, PS, you want to respond to anything or?
Hold on there. Well, I find one other explanation with Miss Ellis.
Just to...
Hold on.
Thanks for that question, member. I think it's a very appropriate question. Chairman, you will recall if it's not the annual report for last year, it's the year before.
Let me find the question quickly.
Supported by evidence, and for us to go forward, then at least we can say that yes, we finally got the message. We're finally going on, and we're going on with much care, and we are going on knowing that the permanent secretary is keeping a check on these things. And so that's for the permanent secretary. But I want to know from the Auditor General, is it that you qualify these accounts? What is it? Or do we come back every year with them? Or is it that we are going to be writing to these municipal corporations for the suppliers invoice for a business that maybe don't exist anymore? Thank you.
Thanks for that question, member. I think it's a very appropriate question. Chairman, you will recall if it's not the annual report for last year, it's the year before, where I made a recommendation for surcharge.
Yes,
for
this
members of the Portland Municipal Corporation, because
this explanation is very important, and I want you to listen it because she understands the Jamaica legislation, which I don't do, so I can't give a breakdown on that for you. But listen well to this explanation.
There is an avenue to hold accounting and accountable officers to account through the surcharge procedure of the FAA Act. No, I made that recommendation for Portland Municipal Corporation because we did not know. No one could say when the records were misplaced. The FAA Act has a timeline on the period within which a surcharge proceeding can be instituted. It has to be 3 years. And the only reason I've not made any recommendation to the ministry, to the financial secretary for surcharge is because the years that we are dealing with here falls outside. No, this is one of the dangers rather, of not submitting statements on time because the time elapses and we cannot hold to account those who we should be holding to account. But I did in a meeting with the permanent secretary once, and I'm sure I may have written it to say that the moment I can recommend that surcharge, once we're within that 3-year period, I am going to make that recommendation. And I think that should go for all accounting officers because it is true for the appropriation accounts as well. The law is very clear on that. If you cannot, and it does not give the Auditor General an option, it says the Auditor General shall. So it's not that I, at my discretion, determine whether I should report this municipal corporation versus another. No, or any other entity. It says the Auditor General shall. Once it says he is unable to account for the expenditure. So it's very, very clear on that. Now, the ministry, the financial secretary, has the discretion to institute a surcharge action, whether for the full amount of the loss, because if you, let me use your example, 144, 220. If you are unable to provide.
Hey, want to know how I was able to catch this monster 700 pip move in euro dollar and how you can do exactly
Support for 144, 220. What the law is saying, is that that's a loss. That's a loss to the government because you're unable to substantiate that you actually spent this fund on the basis on which it was spent. Yes, that is how the Act treats it. Yes, it refers to it as a loss, that it shall be deemed a loss, and the Auditor General shall report it. Because the Act says it shall be deemed a loss. So once you're not able to account for the funds, that is how it should be treated.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, and it's a heavy sigh, the situation is that bad that the outstanding municipal corporations are way beyond the 3-year period at this point in time. So you would not even be able to apply that particular clause in the Act because we're going back, what, 6, 7, 8
years.
10 years.
Right, and I want to add that the one council that I believe is catching up, and that's not to say that they're within reach, but just say that they have submitted, I think Portland Municipal Corporation and Manchester, they're up to, right, so Manchester is up to 2024. So there is a parish council that has actually completed their financial reports, and that's not to say that it's a way to punish them. No, but just to say that it is possible. It is possible. And I know that Portland is also making some gains.
So P.S., in addition to everything you're doing, I think it's important. You say you have this committee where the CEOs and the CFOs are. There are clearly some municipal corporations that...
I don't want to bore you any longer because I think you have gotten all the important bits that I want you to get from this, included the documents that got wet by hurricane, including the documents that got eaten or infested, drawn away, buried on the bush by rat. You see, so those were the important bits from Miss Ellis that I want to bring to your attention. Riot. Riot I go start now. Hold on there. Riot. No, not this one yet. I could look for something riotous. You ever want something riotous? Hold on there. Murder. I went there. Can you hear? It's telling me on my side that my browser has lost connection. Can you hear the thingy? Are you hearing Deadman Mckenzie? Let me know, please. Let me know if you're hearing Deadman Mckenzie. No, you're not hearing. Right, I'm going to stop the screen share and start again. Let me stop the screen share and start again because I want to bring in Deadman Mckenzie. Let me see. I'm going to start playing it now, so let me know if you're hearing Deadman. Hold on.
In Central Kingston.
I see them put out that thing about me, about the indigent housing program. I Prime Minister Social Housing Program number 1. Once it is built on government property, something go wrong, then it is the responsibility of the government to look about it. Those persons who find their own property and come in and it's legitimate, we never tell nobody that we're going to take nothing from them. What they're trying to do is to create scandal and mischief. Lie.
Desmond Mckenzie. So this is what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. Under the indigent program, those people are housed entirely on government property. Yes? As against people under the Social Housing Initiative who put up their own land and the government builds on it. It is theirs forever. And those who proposed and circulated knew that. They would have known that. But no, that's not the objective. You see, truth is now a casualty. So long as it suits us, yeah, run it.
Deep throat, rub off knee cliff. Deep throat, rub off knee cliff. May I go get to you? Lie like a sore foot, Mama Desmond. Lie like your sore foot, Mama. Your mama will grow a thief. Your mama will grow a criminal. Your mama will grow a gunman, Desmond Mckenzie. Lie like your wicked, obia walking, Mama. Your go. Oh, you call lie, dirty boy. Let me show you, see how you are liar. drunk crow. Me I go show you, say, because the Prime Minister come out here and call with this despicable way there. Now you come out, you say we are liar. All right. All right, Desmond Mckenzie. Because through your wicked mama, teach your hunger for thief and lie, then you can come out here, come think you can come disrespect people and call them liar or tell people say them have political this and political that. Why them I do this and why them I do that, but nothing they are doing, Desmond Mckenzie, is the truth. It's not what you spoke. Other one, yeah? No, not this. Not you, Jankro. Not you. Oh, the bloody thing there. May I go find Desmond words, none of my words. Because Desmond say we send out mischief upon him. Why me can't find this video tonight, dear God? May I go find it though? On a time toddy. Because Desmond say, I make up argument. I put out information. Hold on. People put out information pan Desmond Mckenzie. Desmond Mckenzie no say nothing. You understand? A political narrative. Wait for me and your deep throat, Cliff. Because when we say it, Cliff, when we run with the narrative, we should have known say it true. So if we should have known say it true, who is telling the lie here? Listen to Desmond Mckenzie and see if a wee vlogger run with Desmond Mckenzie name. All right, Desmond Mckenzie give us something for run with.
The social indigent housing program of the government of Dr. Andrew Holness, and I'm really proud of what we have been able to accomplish and lives that we have touched and changed.
I'm happy that you've shed some light on it, and I would have wanted you to dive a little bit more into the program itself, since it was started by your ministry.
Okay, what the program does, as I said before, persons can apply. They are investigated by the poor relief officers. They must have the land to build the units. And once that is done, we now proceed after the investigation to see whether or not the persons are eligible. They meet the criteria which is set up, because you must be a part of a program that does not allow you on your own. And there are cases where we have provided houses for persons who probably are not that destitute, but because of their circumstances, we have provided for them. Now, the Poor Relief Department of the municipal corporations retain responsibility for the units.
Yes.
So while you occupy those units, the Poor Relief Department does its monthly checking on the units. You are not allowed to do any addition to the units. The units come fully furnished. It is something that I when I came up with the idea of furnishing the units, we did it because there are cases where we saw persons have homes, but there is nothing for them to sleep on. So we figured it does make sense to give you a nice room, and then you have to sleep on the cold ground.
Or furnish the
So we provide the necessary furnishing for the unit. Right. Now, the unit cannot be rented. It is not for sale. No addition can be done to the unit. And the unit cannot be handed down to family. And we have cases where occupants have died, and the Poor Relief Department retains the unit, and then it is handed over to someone else who is in need.
Absolutely.
So what we do, and we encourage persons to take care of the units. We notice.
What in that, Cliff Hughes? What in that did any vlogger, whether independently or associated to the People's National Party, what in that Cliff Hughes
in Central
that
Kingston
you deem to be a lie, and that we know the truth when we run with the story? And sure, as one who called itself a journalist, you would have know how to do the research, just like how vloggers out here doing the research. That Desmond Mckenzie said it twice. We don't owe the government tax. Cliff Hughes. Cliff Hughes, we do not owe the Jamaica government any tax. We do not have to do floor scrubbing and body washing and pocket picking for the government, Cliff Hughes. We're not tax evader or tax embezzler, Mr. Hughes. So we don't have to bend over and tell lies for the government and help the government, Mr. Hughes, to advance their criminality and their disaster. So when you come out here, come help Desmond Mckenzie, come call Williard Cliff Hughes, get up off of your knee, take politicians' dick out your throat, Cliff, pay us our tax and get back to journalism. Because not even vloggers are not butt-licking politicians out here, Cliff Hughes. How did you fall from a journalism to a body washing company? Look at you. Look at where you have come down to. That once he was. Listen, my girl. Listen, my girl. All your corner. All away a vlog upon you, my girl. All away a vlog upon you. All heap of vlog upon you, they are do better than you, my girl. So when you do your boot licking and your butt washing, no draw we in it. We know you have to work off your tax money. Don't use we as a props to work off your tax money, Cliff Hughes. We're doing what is called independent journalism. Freelance journalism. When nobody no edit we, other than with conscience. And sometimes dirty TikTok child we too. And the dirty YouTube. Yes, the whole. But other than that, me no grow with filter. Look at what Cliff Hughes has come down to. Cliff Hughes cannot even do investigative journalism anymore. Cliff Hughes have to rely upon sus and gossip and propaganda. Cliff Hughes, not even vlogger, now run with propaganda the way how you do just to get an audience. Vloggers want to put out information where they make sure them not tarnish them platform reputation. You lost that, my dear. Girlfriend, you lost it upon your knees, working off your tax. Come out here, come call Williard Cliff Hughes. How much unsubstantiated story have you published out here, Cliff Hughes, while you owe radio license tax, Cliff Hughes? How dare you speak to us like that and owe money? People normally have manners when them owe people their money. And we, you owe, you know who Angela TAJ, you owe we, Cliff Hughes. So careful how you talk to we while you owe money. Backroad journalists, go when I have confidence to take off your clothes. Who you talk to? Why you not go tell Desmond Mckenzie to stop thief and lie? Why you not gonna find out if Desmond Mckenzie suffer from dementia? Why you never ask TVJ, not TVJ, JIS and PBCJ to cut out the information what Desmond Mckenzie talk, what cause despair? When the problem is we start listening. Not only that we are listening, my girl, we're understanding. This is the big problem here. We don't never expect we to pick it up because deep throat hole journalists like Cliff Hughes, where we don't know how far down his throat Tufton and the others are, has never sought as a journalist to see it as a story, but come out here and tell qualified independent journalists that we're liars and we're running with political narrative. You third-rated bitch. He, him, and that bitch, Cliff Hughes. Careful how you talk to him, my girl. Please. Careful how you talk to him. We would just you down roughly or nicely. Careful how you talk to him. You owe with money. When people owe people money, them normally tiptoe around them and try to be nice and sweet. But how dare you brawlingly come out and sport bullshit? Why don't you go and look at the records? We have it. How come you don't have? And you say, I'm a journalist. Journalist where? On your knee? Body washing journalist? Listen, my girl, don't make me come back out here to you. Don't let me come back out here to your Cliff Hughes where you don't size. Don't try rub up against we. We stand up and we foot Cliff Hughes. We no down pan we knee like you. We no down pan we knee like you, Cliff Hughes. You see, we are march behind nobody. We stand like a brave. We can talk what we want to talk. We can criticize anybody what we can criticize. We can broadcast anything what we want to broadcast because say we don't have to wait till nobody pull nothing out of our throat before we can talk. Don't try we out here. He, she, and that bitch. Don't try we out here. And then you call yourself journalist and blatantly come at tech side with politician for something what Desmond Mckenzie repeated twice in public. And a bitch like you have the nerve, Cliff Hughes, to come out and sport bullshit. My girl, keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. Thank you all for being here tonight. May I go sleep? No. Tell Cliff Hughes that don't try with. Don't try with him dunceness out here. Why don't you go and evaluate what Desmond Mckenzie said twice? But everybody I run with the news, a vloggers I make it up, a vloggers I make it up. How come nobody has addressed Desmond Mckenzie's argument about the indigent social housing? Why everybody has caved round for Andrew when we talk about for Desmond Mckenzie? Now that we realize that two of them, Andrew come out and declare himself, say, I know me, how come everybody now run up and down a talk, say a lie, we tell? Why you don't address what Desmond Mckenzie said twice in 10 bloody days? Why are we at the problem? Because we never expect we to spot it. We don't expect we to be like Cliff Hughes. Keep on our knees. Keep our head down like a hog. Yes, the same pig that Cliff Hughes is. Keeping your head down. See nothing above the level of your eye, Cliff Hughes, because a hog can't look up. How dare you, Cliff Hughes? Cliff Hughes, how dare you, you slime bag? How very, very dare you? Thank you very much. Good night and tata from Global TV.
If you don't like missing out on the latest shows but still enjoy classic hits, then Global TV Group 358 is your perfect match. Global TV Group 358 isn't just another channel, it's your ultimate TV experience. From breaking news to binge-worthy dramas and timeless classics, we've got it all. Our unique blend of original content and global favorites means there's something for everyone. And guess what? With GTVG's seamless streaming, you can watch anywhere, anytime. Plus, our interactive features let you be part of the action. So, whether you're a seasoned binge watcher or a casual viewer, Global TV Group 358 is here to keep you entertained day and night. Don't just watch TV, experience it with Global TV Group 358. Subscribe now and never miss a moment.